In the digital colosseum of contemporary discourse, the effervescent streamer Destiny engages in a spirited dialectic with Lauren Southern, each thrust and parry a testament to the profundities of political and ideological contention.
Okay, well, I think in both cases, it's just a matter of, I don't think that Trump not being charged is equivalent to.
I never said it was equivalent.
Child rape.
I didn't say it was equivalent.
I think it was.
I'm asking you for I'm asking you.
Yeah, no, of course it's not.
Okay, there you go. Okay. But the reason why is because you're doing in your mind a factual analysis of what the people are protesting. So when you say, Destiny, when you say that you could protest this or you wouldn't have to be this, isn't this kind of like what right-wingers said? Well, I mean, in terms of like the actions, maybe, but the underlying factual analysis is entirely different. When conservatives say things like, oh no, progressives are stealing the government, they don't have a factual foundation generally to say things like that. When people say, oh no, Donald Trump is fundamentally altering like the power of like how the branches are operating in order to serve his own interests, there is a factual foundation for that, I would argue. So I would say there's a difference in both scenarios.
Do you think that if you've got that factual foundation, which don't get me wrong, I am interested in, when you were talking about the actually reading the indictments, and clearly when you do your debates, most of the people who do them against you haven't read them. I haven't read them. I'll be honest with that. I'm very interested in reading them. In fact, listening to some of your content has made me interested in actually delving into that content and made me think twice about, the people I follow on Twitter don't usually share that stuff. It is kind of annoying that a lot of the politics is over memes and this and that. And it's kind of cool to hear when you talk about, oh, here's things you should check out, Lauren. Do you think you might be hurting your chances of doing that more by telling every conservative that follows you to stop and never subscribe to your channel again and that you hate them all?
I would never, I didn't say that to conservatives. I just said that to people that support Donald Trump. There's a few conservatives out there who don't.
I'm like 90% sure you said conservative. You're like, I'm sure we've got 1,000 conservatives left here. You can all talk.
I think I said over and over again conservatives that support Trump. But you know what? If I misspoke, that if you're a conservative and you don't support Trump, you're welcome here. You're our favorite type of conservative because the Republican Party sure doesn't want you. Not you personally.
Conservatives that support Trump, the exact people you want to be listening to what you're saying? Like you've got.
I don't know if those people are. I don't know. I don't know if I can reach those.
Pretty
people.
Sure he supports Trump. Would you, if you could take it back, would you not do that game with Michael Knowles?
Well, at this point, absolutely, I would take it back. Yeah, fuck me.
You would, okay.
Absolutely. Well, I wouldn't take it back, but the start of it would be me grilling him on I would read the first question, and then I would ask him about the insurrection. And then I would do that for probably about 25 minutes till he kicks me off his show. That's probably what we would do.
I think your most interesting arc has been all of these debates you've been doing lately with people that you haven't been able to access in the past. You've been able to have fascinating conversations.
I understand.
That just weren't going on before because you had
listen,
like a level of
I understand. That's great.
Little reasonable.
That's great. When you say that, okay, it's like somebody saying, like, one of my favorite things about you is the fact that your dad is from Kentucky, okay? That's not what I want to be known for. That's not what I want to be remembered for, whatever capacity it is. That's not what I want to be famous for, okay? My strengths are in debate, and I think they're in research, information acquisition, and hopefully some kind of rhetoric, okay? It's not my
if you have personally attacked them all into oblivion, every single right-winger on Twitter right now, you've just like...
How am I going to debate anyone when I go on their shows and the only way to talk to them is if I treat them like a Down syndrome-ridden 2-year-old? None of the things I've had were debates. My conversation with Ben Shapiro wasn't a debate. Jordan Peterson wasn't a debate. Candace Owens wasn't a debate. None of these were debates. Seb Gorka wasn't a debate. None of these things have been debates. It's been me going there and then giving them the privilege of surviving a conversation with me saying, wow, I talked to Destiny. It wasn't that bad because I have to treat them like children. Otherwise, they'll be like Constantine where they shit themselves online because I've dared to challenge the status quo that these centrist, spineless packs who only carry water for Trump exclusively have managed to do for year after year after year because nobody calls them out on it.
So who is good enough? Destiny. Who is good enough?
Somebody that is actually adheres to their principles, can have a challenging and critical conversation without running and screaming, and who's not a sellout. Unfortunately, it's all a bunch of small. That guy that you saw in that last thing that was screaming at me, Rob Knorr, that's one of them. That's the guy who can have a conversation. We can scream at each other back and forth. We actually reads and goes through stuff. There are people in my community that I have conversations with. It's unfortunately just going to be smaller content creators. People like Tim Pool have too much of a vested interest in keeping themselves stupid and keeping their audiences stupid to have critical conversations. That's why they bring people on and they don't prep them on the topics and they just bring up like fake news on their monitor to read off so that they can have their debates and do their mutual dick sucking contests. And then same thing with every other quote unquote centrist channel, right? How do you call yourself, Lauren, how do you call your program trigonometry And then you get triggered because I have a little joke at some dude getting blown away at some some pro-Putin loser at a Trump rally. That's the thing that triggers you. Like, oh, I can't have this guy on my show anymore. Bullshit. How many jokes do you think this guy has made at BLM people dying? Or do you think he's made Pelosi husband jokes? Get out of here. Okay? These people are not edgy. They're not centrist. They're not triggering anybody. They're just conservative dick sucks. That's all they are.
Listen, if Constantine has made a joke about a BLM rider that wasn't actively attacking or trying to kill someone getting, murdered, yeah, I think that was pretty hypocritical. I don't think he has, though. Don't think he has.
Okay. Well, I'll go looking for it later on and we'll find out.
Okay, and I'm going to read those indictments. Anyways, I think you'll have a lot more interesting conversations in the future if you just,
hold on. You're not understanding me. You're not understanding me. You're misunderstanding me, okay? In your world, an interesting conversation is where me and Jordan Peterson see how lightly we can touch our dicks together, okay, for 2 hours, okay, without making the other person come or cry. That's, in your mind, it's an interesting conversation. I don't consider those to be successful conversations. I don't like any conversation I've had this year with any conservative figure. I don't like any of them. All of them have been garbage conversations. I've enjoyed conversations I had in the blood sports era more than any of the conversations with any of these facts. Okay, so I understand what you're saying in terms of like, oh, well, I think that these conversations are good. They aren't good. They're not good. They were a waste of time. And now I regret that I've let some people slide by thinking that I think that conduct that's acceptable is acceptable when I don't think that it is. That's my issue. So, we'll find out.
Okay, so if I read these indictments, will we have a conversation about it later, or because I'm, thinking about maybe supporting Trump, or are we just going to blacklist me from the stream?
I haven't blacklisted anybody. We can have a conversation about the indictments if you want, but I'm not going to blacklist you from my stream. I'm just saying that. Never mind, I won't say that. Listen, if you want to read them and then have a chat with me, then we can have a chat with them. Sure.
But will you hate that conversation? Never want to have it?
If I can have I don't hate conversation. If I can have a critical conversation. I haven't had that conversation. I haven't had that critical conversation with any other conservative person. They can't have critical conversations. They break down and they cry and they shit themselves and then they piss themselves and they come all over themselves in the corner. Okay, whenever they are challenged, even remotely, by any of these things.
All right, send me all of the documents you think are relevant to the conversation we're going to have. I will read them. Might take me a little while, but I will read them and we can have that conversation. All right?
Okay. Be careful. Stay safe.
All right. Bye.
The topic at hand: the tactical maneuvering required in the ongoing skirmish with conservative ideologies, a battlefield Destiny advocates approaching with unyielding aggression, much to the chagrin of Southern, who counsels a more tempered approach. Destiny's stance is unapologetically militant. He believes that conservatives, particularly those orbiting the Trumpian constellation, necessitate a robust and unrelenting counter. His argument is grounded in the belief that the factual underpinning of liberal critiques against the conservative modus operandi is a bastion of righteousness, standing in stark contrast to the often spurious allegations lobbed by the right. Southern, attempting to mollify this combative posture, posits that such aggressiveness could alienate potential allies and exacerbate partisan divides. Their debate unfurls with the fervor of a gladiatorial contest, each side brandishing their rhetorical weaponry. Destiny contends that the moral and factual high ground occupied by progressives justifies a more confrontational stance. He argues that the actions and policies of figures like Donald Trump represent a tangible subversion of democratic norms, necessitating an equally forceful response. Southern, ever the voice of moderation, suggests that the polarization resulting from such tactics could prove counterproductive, potentially pushing the very individual's Destiny aims to reach further into their ideological bunkers. The crux of Destiny's argument rests on the belief that the stakes are too high for half measures. He views the conservative agenda as a direct threat to the foundational principles of justice and equity. To him, the failure to meet such a threat with adequate force is tantamount to capitulation. Southern, meanwhile, espouses the virtues of dialogue and understanding, warning that an overly aggressive approach might reinforce negative stereotypes and impede meaningful discourse. Destiny's exasperation is palpable as he recounts his experiences engaging with conservative interlocutors. He laments the lack of substantive debate, accusing many conservative figures of intellectual dishonesty and emotional fragility. In his view, these interactions often devolve into farce, with his opponents unable to withstand the scrutiny of his incisive questioning. Southern counters with a plea for empathy, suggesting that the way forward lies in building bridges rather than burning them. The dialectical dance continues as Destiny doubles down on his strategy, emphasizing the importance of holding conservatives accountable for their actions and rhetoric. He dismisses Southern's concerns as overly conciliatory, arguing that the time for polite conversation has long passed. To him, the existential threats posed by the current political climate demand a more assertive and unyielding response. Southern's retort is rooted in pragmatism. She warns that Destiny's approach risks alienating moderates and independents, who are crucial in the broader struggle for political influence. She advocates for a strategy that combines firmness with diplomacy, aiming to convert rather than confront. Destiny, however, remains unconvinced, viewing such tactics as ineffectual in the face of what he perceives as an intransigent and radicalized conservative base. As their exchange crescendos, Destiny makes a concession of sorts, acknowledging that his methods might not be universally applicable. Yet, he remains steadfast in his belief that his approach is necessary in the current political milieu. Southern, while appreciating his passion, remains skeptical of the efficacy of such relentless aggression, urging a recalibration towards more constructive engagement. In the end, their debate epitomized the broader struggle within the progressive movement, the tension between uncompromising idealism and pragmatic coalition building. Destiny embodies the former, a crusader unwavering in his conviction that the fight against conservatism must be fought with unrelenting vigor. Southern, conversely, champions the latter, advocating for a strategy that seeks to expand the progressive tent through dialogue and understanding. Their conversation, a microcosm of the larger ideological battle, underscores the challenges inherent in navigating the complex landscape of modern politics. It highlights the difficulty of balancing moral clarity with strategic flexibility, a dilemma that will undoubtedly continue to shape the contours of political discourse in the years to come. Ultimately, the discourse between Destiny and Southern serves as a poignant reminder of the multifaceted nature of political engagement. It underscores the importance of both passion and pragmatism, challenging all who partake in the political arena to carefully consider their strategies and the potential consequences thereof. As the ideological battle lines continue to shift, the lessons gleaned from such exchanges will remain invaluable, guiding the way forward in an increasingly polarized world. In conclusion, the clash between Destiny's aggressive advocacy and Southern's tempered diplomacy encapsulates the enduring tension within progressive politics. It is a testament to the complexities of the ideological struggle, a reminder that the path to meaningful change is fraught with challenges and requires a delicate balance of conviction and compromise. The future of political engagement will undoubtedly be shaped by the outcomes of such debates, as each side continues to refine their strategies in the quest for a more just and equitable society.